I always liked to fly. I thought about going in the Army, be a helicopter pilot, because I already had my pilot's license, but you'd had to have 20/20 vision, and mine was like 20/25, so I decided to go in the Air Force, and I wasn't flying at first, but I figured a way to become an aircrew member and start flying.
Mm-hmm.
I was what they call an aircraft loadmaster, and a loadmaster was a person who worked at the back of the airplane. We made sure the airplane was at the proper weight and balance for takeoff and flight. And we also monitored the passengers in flight. Airdropped paratroopers, airdropped ammunition, jeeps, whatever equipment would go back out of the airplane. We had to rig it all up, which was very intricate for the parachutes to drag it out and open and so it land safely in the ground. Well, the most whirlwind was when when I was awarded a Distinguished Flying Cross. There was this Army fire base that was on top of a mountain, and they were being attacked with rockets and mortars and stuff. So we were just bringing airplanes in to supply with ammunition, and I had about 15,000 pounds of ammunition on my airplane, howitzer rounds, small arm rounds, whatever. And we landed. As soon as we landed, they started shooting at us. So we just continued down the runway and took off again. And then the pilot says, we're just going to do a touch and go next time. So he came back around, and when he did touch go, I had the back doors open, and I pushed out this 15,000 pounds by myself. And since the runway was elevated up, on top of the hill, there was a big embankment on each side, and the mortars were just throwing the mud over the airplane. We were just covered in mud by the time we took off, but we were the last airplane in there. And if they didn't get this ammunition, they would have gotten overrun. This is a sad one. So we numbered our flights like 101, 2, 3, always to 112, and our call sign was Bookie. Well, I was scheduled for Bookie 105, but when I raced everything, redid it, just doing it, I ended up being on Bookie 106, one mission behind this other airplane. So I made, on my second stop, we landed at this place, and I saw people sitting down crying. And after we pulled up and shut down, so what happened? So you see that steam and smoke over there in that right space. There's this Bookie 105 just crashed in there, and no survivors. So I should have been on that airplane. And that's that airplane right there. If you see a foot sticking out of it, one of these pictures, that would have been my foot. And it was hard because, we only flew in daytime because none of the runways were lit. So we took off at sunrise and we came back Saigon at sunset, but we all would get picked up early in the morning, go to the chow hall to eat and talk about what we're going to do that night. And then when we got done, the bus would come pick us up, take us back to the quarters. Well, my buddy was with me in the morning, but that evening he wasn't. So it was pretty tough. Plus, it should have been me. One thing, when I came back from Vietnam in 1970, they flew me into Travis Air Force Base. Then I had to go to San Francisco International Airport to catch my flight back into the East Coast. And I've been away from my family for a year. I had 3 small kids from 9 months to 6 years old when I left. And I was happy to get back to them. And to leave Vietnam, you have to fly out what we call the Freedom Bird on your uniform. And they normally keep it on because they bus you, they bus you to the International Airport in San Francisco to fly home. I'm still in my uniform. And walking into the terminal, I got spit on many times and nasty things said to me. So the first thing I did was find the first restroom and change out in my uniform. Because it was pretty mean. So when I got back, I was based in Warner Robins, Georgia. It takes about 6 months to a year to get your medal, the big ones, to come down, because this medal had to be approved by the President of the United States. And so when they went to award my Distinguished Flying Cross, normally they do it in front of everybody, like the whole squadron, but because their times were tough and there's people who like the military too much, it was awarded to me in the commander's office, just privately. My stepson, who is in the Air Force, was based in Hawaii. He worked for a one-star general, and I met his boss and told him my story. And then when my stepson was getting promoted to lieutenant colonel, they had a great big ceremony for him. And I'm up there at the ceremony, and the general says, "Chief Obi, come forward, please." And they rewarded a medal in front of everybody. It must have been hundreds. And I was the only one.